What's going on, everyone? Anthony Davis relayed in an interview that he has not shot a basketball in over 2 months, and fans are outraged. People are really upset because many were hoping that this year would be a bounce back year for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis shot 19% from three-point range last year, and that is overselling it. On top of that, he just didn't look like himself. He had stretches, he had little spurts and moments, but for the most part, he was very underwhelming. He was constantly injured, per usual, and there's just a lot of headache around Anthony Davis and a lot of question about his drive and whether or not he can be the guy to lead us and be the bubble Anthony Davis once again. I mean, for example, LeBron James is up every morning at 5 a.m. at the Lakers facility, working on his shot, working on his game, working on his strength training, all of these things. And it shows the determination, it shows the drive, it shows the desire to be the best. And the problem with Anthony Davis is not that number one guy mentality. He doesn't have the mentality of a LeBron, a Jordan, a Kobe. He has the mentality of Shaq in many ways. I mean, back in the day when Kobe and Shaq were having their feud and stuff, one of the big things was that Shaq was just lazy. He didn't put the work in. He didn't do the things necessary. He'd come to in the offseason, out of shape and not willing to work out. Anthony Davis, many people were upset, and even the Lakers organization was upset because Anthony Davis was a little bit out of shape and needed to get back in shape and things like that. We're seeing a lot of that mirrored. This great, potentially all-time just dominant player just not putting in the work and the effort. But there is one thing that you need to keep in mind. Now, Anthony Davis has a workout routine that he does every year. He takes 4 weeks off, which is for rest. He just rests his body for 4 weeks, and then he spends 6 weeks on strength training. And that is lining up with these 2 months of him not shooting a basketball. After 10 weeks, then he begins to ramp up the shooting and all of that stuff leading into training camp, leading into the preseason, and then into the season. So it isn't out of the usual norm for Anthony Davis to be 2 months in and not have shooting a basketball. This actually lines up beautifully. So I imagine that Anthony Davis is still in the gym. He's still working on his strength training. He's still working on, getting his body right, which is very important. He needs to get his body right? Because his biggest issue has been injuries. And he's such a dominant force when he buys in and he's willing. It's the lack of consistency that is an issue. And I think a lot of that has to do with his body itself. So I am okay personally with Anthony Davis ramping up the, body workouts and conditioning and strengthening to all of his body parts and his legs and his arms and just so hopefully it'll prevent some injuries in this upcoming season, because this season is supposed to hopefully be a get back to a championship team season. Now, Russell Westbrook very likely is going to be back, and there's a lot of questions and concerns, but we need a elite Anthony Davis, because as long as you have an elite Anthony Davis that is healthy, then the Lakers always have a chance. I mean, Anthony Davis and LeBron James together are a monster. And if Darvin Ham can find a way to get Westbrook to buy in, and can find a way to get Westbrook to just be utilized to an extent. He doesn't have to be the dominant Westbrook, but if he can just be a lot more consistent than he was last year, then I do think it could work. I do think that the trio could potentially work, but you need Anthony Davis to be knocking down his outside shots. You need Anthony Davis to be that dominant force, and I am all for him using strength training, but at some point, man, given the lack of shooting you had last year, you got to get back in the gym. And Anthony Davis has said in the past, hey, the basketball skills is what comes back right away. Like, I don't miss a beat once I start shooting. Once I get in the gym, everything just comes back beautifully, and it's not an issue. But it was an issue last year. Like, maybe that worked for you in the past, but last year, there was no shot with you. I mean, teams were not worried about you shooting the ball. You could not shoot an outside shot to save your life. And I think that is a big issue. And you would think, given the lack of shooting ability last year, and maybe it was just a bad year. I mean, the Lakers as a whole just had a bad year all around. Outside of LeBron James, nobody was really that good. It was a mess on and off the court. And so maybe that's what it was. Maybe Anthony Davis was just in his head. Maybe it was just a bad year. We've seen stars we've seen players have bad years. And I'm hoping that that's all it is. I'm hoping Anthony Davis comes back and he gets back to being the Anthony Davis we know, that just dominant force, that guy that can go and get you 30, 12, and 5, and also block 3 or 4 shots, be a dominant defensive force. Like, if we can get that Anthony Davis, I do think this Laker team can be something scary. Will they be a championship contender? I don't know. It depends on the other pieces around them. Could they win a finals? I don't know. It depends on the pieces around them. But you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis playing at a high level, you're always going to be in games and you're always going to be in contention. You're always going to be in that conversation. And especially in the West. This past year, we really saw that nobody in the West was really a world beater. Nobody was just so great. It was like, wow, like that team is unbeatable. I mean, everybody had their weaknesses. Everybody had their flaws. The only team that really people thought was a world beater was the Phoenix Suns. And the Phoenix Suns lost to the Dallas Mavericks. And you can make the argument the year prior when they went to the finals, the Lakers should have won that series if Anthony Davis didn't get hurt. Now, would they have? We don't know. But they were winning that series, and Anthony Davis went down, and that entire thing changed. So I don't know if that would have continued, but it's very likely. So there seems to be no world beater teams in the Western Conference. So the Lakers always have a chance with Davis and AD, or Davis and LeBron. But Anthony Davis needs to buy in more. And it sucks that he is this just unworldly talent, this ridiculous type of player, yet he doesn't have that drive to be dominant. I mean, Anthony Davis could be a top 3 to 5 player, hands down. I mean, he could do everything. He's a defensive force. He could shoot the ball. He could handle it like a point guard. He is ridiculous. He should be, night in and night out, the best player on the court. He should be in the discussion every year for top 3 to 5 player in the entire league. And he's not, because he can't stay healthy. And he just is so inconsistent. He's, in my opinion, the most inconsistent superstar we have in the league. He just, one night will go and get you 50, and you're like, dude, this guy is a monster. My God. I'll go get you a 50, 15, and 7 game and add in 4 blocks and just completely dominate and change the game. And you're just like, there it is. That's the Anthony Davis. And then the next game, he'll put up like 12 points and 6 rebounds. And you're like, what is this, right? But the bubble Anthony Davis was that top 3 player. Like, go back and watch his entire run in the bubble. He was unstoppable. And he is a nightmare mismatch night in and night out. There is nobody in the league that can guard Anthony Davis when he is that top 3 player. Because everybody his size isn't fast enough. It isn't skilled enough defensively. Everybody that is skilled enough and fast enough and good enough defensively is too small, and he could just dominate. He's such a mismatch. It's ridiculous. And so I'd love to see Anthony Davis buy in, and maybe he will. Maybe he's wrapping up his, strength training and all of that stuff, and he'll begin shooting in the gym. But like, this is the stuff you don't say out loud. You say you're in the gym every day. You say, you're busting your tail to be the next star. To get the Lakers back to the promised land. That's what you say. You say stuff like that. You don't say stuff like, oh, well, I just think, I haven't shot a basketball in 2 months. Like, that's not what you do, dude. That's not what you say. Like, I get you're in the gym. I get you're still, you're still doing other things. But, don't let the whole world know that, like, hey, I haven't shot a ball when you were a terrible shooter last year. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think about the comments that Anthony Davis said about not shooting a basketball in over 2 months? Are you okay with it because he's in the gym, he's strength training? It falls into like what Anthony Davis does every year, 4 weeks off, 6 weeks on, and then begins to shoot and work on his skill training and stuff. Are you okay with that? Or do you think, no, like you should be shooting from day one? You are a basketball player. You should be taking shots, putting it up, even if you're spending an hour or 2 a day just shooting jumpers. I mean, LeBron's doing everything, right? I mean, LeBron's doing strength training and working on his shot and his game constantly. Like, Anthony Davis should be doing the same. I don't know. I get it. I get Anthony Davis. I understand the type of player he is. I understand his work ethic and stuff. It's just not something I'm happy about, and it's not something that you say on camera, something you keep quiet behind closed doors. But I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on everything we talked about in this video. Let me know down in the comment section below. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.